And welcome back to Who Will Win. Today's Who Will Win comes to us from Jotaro Kujo, obviously from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And they asked the question, who will win a fight? Saitama versus All Might. Now, again, I don't know. I couldn't find. I have so many people in my book listing suggestions, and so many get repeated that sometimes it's very likely I missed this one from someone else. So I couldn't find them. I couldn't find a repeat of Saitama versus All Might, but if someone else did, just let me know. This is, again, going to be a short one, because for me, this is kind of a pretty obvious question with an obvious answer. All Might, the hero of justice, peace, the embodiment of peace. I am the greatest hero. And in his prime, All Might was capable of basically, affecting the world in many ways. Not just, relations-wise, but also physically. Like, his power was so great, he was literally capable of changing the weather, even in his weakened state. It caused a attack so great that when he fought the mud monster, or the sludge monster, that he actually displaced the weather and caused it to rain. He cratered all for one in their final fight together. And this is all in his weakened state. He said he was at least 60 times more powerful. He said only taking 5 or 6 punches as opposed to the 300, implying that in his strongest, he was probably 60 times stronger, which is insane. He can cause wind gusts just by the sheer use of his muscles. He's durable enough to tank massive explosions and massive hits that crater Earth, even in his weakened form. All Might's also got advanced hand-to-hand combat experience because he's been doing this all his whole life. He's easily in his late 50s, early 60s. They actually never say how old All Might actually is. But we know he is on the older side because he was doing this for years. Ultimately, though, nothing All Might has really matters here. Because Saitama, everything we've seen from Saitama within his manga and anime, respectively, just is on a different level of power. Case in point, Saitama, obviously, the reason he's so strong is that he broke his limiter, meaning he theoretically doesn't have limits. Although, if he were truly limitless, just by moving around, he probably would be affecting the world drastically just by, similar to All Might, really, just, causing wind gusts, maybe even just moving would just wreak havoc on, space and time. It's clear that, A, he has limits, but B, he does have, some sort of a subconscious level restraint on his power. Granted, that sounded weird. It sounded like I was gasping. No, that was just a little bit of a stuffy nose congestion. No, it's clear he has some subconscious control over his power, but the joke of the series is he has so little control that every punch kills an opponent. And the range of opponents he's beaten are extremely impressive. What was it? The something dragon, the giant centipede monster that he one-shotted. King Boros is probably the most significant opponent he's beaten. Or Lord Boros, sorry. Lord Boros is the most significant opponent he's beaten. But he's beaten giant monsters hands down. Lord Boros was one of the only opponents he's ever faced who actually was able to take more than a single punch from, even though at that point he had learned to kind of control his punches a little bit. Still, he was able to go toe-to-toe with Saitama for a little bit, even though Saitama really wasn't trying. He even stated that he wasn't trying. To the point where, A, Saitama survived a shot straight from Boros to the moon, which cratered the moon, surviving in no atmosphere so long as he was holding his breath, then jumped right back to the moon Earth within seconds, and was fine. That's something All Might could not do. Everything we've seen from All Might, even if All Might is prime, there's no way, A, he can survive in zero atmosphere, like in a vacuum. Because Saitama is still in a vacuum, too. Keep that in mind, even though there is a very mild atmosphere around the moon. The minute he jumped out of that atmosphere, he would have been in a vacuum even for a couple seconds. That's insane. And survived re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere with little more than his clothing destroyed. Honestly, his clothing should have been completely gone at that point, but whatever. Because that clothing he's wearing isn't made special for him. It's just a costume he put together. So maybe he was moving so fast that it actually bypassed the whole, I'm waiting for the day Death Valley uses Saitama, because I'm going to be very curious to see how that works. And give a puppy butt scratch. And yeah, he then proceeded to, when Boros used his full power, his, oh god, Roaring Thunder something cannon, Lord Boros. Hold on here. Lord Boros. Because it's bothering, I always forget the name of the attack. Let's see here. His attack's name was... let's see here. Powers and alien powers and abilities. Generation, energy projection, flight, power release. Meteor. It's not meteoric. It's meteoric burst. Okay, whatever. Collapsing star, roaring cannon. I always think there's thunder in there, but depending on the translation. It depends how strong this attack is. It's said to possibly be able to destroy the planet, but it was also stated power enough to destroy the surface of the planet or the planet itself, depending on the translation. So it's either it's extinction level. Keep that in mind. It's extinction level, but it's either going to raise the life of the planet, like just raise the whole surface of the world and just destroy all life, or it would literally destroy the world. And Saitama just punched that thing straight in half without any problem. And it's still stated by Boros. If Boros called him out, you were still holding back, weren't you? So there's that. But then there's also the Meteor Feat, which I would actually argue All Might in his prime probably would have been able to do the Meteor Feat. How much power he would have needed to do it is arguable, but I think All Might actually would have been able to do the Meteor Feat. Maybe in his prime. But again, there's still the Meteor Feat. But something that apparently happened in the manga was okay. I'm going to get Saitama up here real quick, because I need to know the name of the opponent that did this. There was a Saitama. It's amazing that besides One Punch Man, a lot of other things come up for Saitama. There was an opponent that Saitama faced off relatively, still within, I think, the last year, but relatively recently, that basically was able to trap Saitama in kind of a pocket dimension, and he actually punched through that pocket dimension. Let's see here now. Let's see. The surface launch, Boros move, normal punch was shown to be fatal, even to someone as durable as Boros. Single serious punch was able to counter starting. Let's see here. After image creation. Yeah, you can also move Sylvester creates after images on vulnerability, lung capacity, temperature resistance, vacuum resistance, pain suppression. He has permission hand in combat, improvisation. Let's see here. I can't find. I know he actually did this though. Elder Centipede was the name of the giant centipede monster, by the way. What was it? If I'm not mistaken, you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong in this, but didn't he actually punch his way out of a pocket dimension at one point? That's levels of power that are actually capable of non-physical interaction. Here we go. For example, one of his strengths defying normal logic is when he broke a hole into the Phoenix space, a spiritual realm that only exists within Phoenix Man's bird's costume, by simply knocking on it. This suggests Saitama can interact with things that are intangible or non-physical. So, it wasn't quite like punching a hole through a pocket dimension, but he entered a separate space dimension, which is pretty nuts. Now, that's not... and see, it's things like that can actually be linked towards maybe talking about whether or not you could beat someone like Superman or Goku in a fight. I still personally don't think he could beat either of them in a fight, but it's stuff like that where the argument can actually be made. So, point being, and on vulnerability too, because he's able to just take all these hits and just keep going. Like, take hits from Boros, Elder Centipede, all these things, and just, it's not a big deal. So this, to me, really isn't a fight. It's a smackdown. And the smackdown's on Saitama's side, because All Might can try and dish out some pain. But the fact of the matter is, All Might, as far as we can tell, has never dished out anything. Even by his own admission, if we go by, Death Battle's calculations. And again, I know a lot of people don't like that, using Death Battle's calculations. But I actually feel like most of the time, they do a decent job at, the calcs. And they did a decent one with All Might. And All Might does not have planet busting, even his prime capabilities. Like, if he punched the world with his full power, he'd make a humongous crater. Maybe even, like, create a new, if he did, like, near the ocean, make, like, a new lagoon or something. But ultimately, I don't see All Might being able to, A, take planetary level threats of power, which is implied that Saitama could, in theory, if he really wanted to take out the planet with a punch, because he stopped a planetary level attack with a punch. That wasn't even the strongest punch. So ultimately, All Might can't take planetary level attacks, and he can't dish out planetary level attacks. Now, he does have the experience advantage of Saitama, but he doesn't have a speed advantage here because he doesn't move so fast that he creates after images. Saitama can move that fast. So, ultimately, I gotta go Saitama. This is gonna be I doubt these guys would fight anyway. These guys would probably be on the same side, all that stuff. I do think All Might, if you throw him into the My Hero Academia, because he's in that world, the One Punch Man world, though, would be able to, handle some of the opponents most of the other heroes get, like Deep Sea King. I think All Might could handle him with actually very little effort at all. King Elder Centipede probably could handle him too. The only one I think All Might would have a legitimate problem against is Boros, because Boros again was a planetary threat. I think he could go toe to toe with Boros, but when Boros was throwing out like all of his power, All Might could not take that. Again, I can't remember the name of the technique. I just remember there's no thunder in it. It's Roaring Star, Collapsing Star Cannon. Was that it? Roaring Collapsing Star Cannon? Hold on. I want to be sure I got that right. Come on. Roaring Collapsing Star Cannon. Roaring Collapsing Star Cannon. Did I get that right? For the win, because I already blanked on the name of the attack. Let's see here. Roaring Collapsing Star Cannon. Come on. Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon. Damn it! I had the right words. I just had it in a different. I got it in a different way. Damn it. Anyway, yeah, I don't think he could take that. But I think he could actually go toe-to-toe. And yeah, All Might could actually do pretty well as a hero in the One Punch Man world. But he could not take on Saitama, because Saitama is an anomaly even in his own world. So, and that's the joke of the series, really. Either way, that's my thoughts. Saitama wins, but let me know if you think different. If you do, that's cool. Put in the comments below. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you folks for the next one. I got Zompok Toa today. I'm going to go see Antlers later tonight. And then I'm also pre-recording my Who Would Win for tomorrow. So keep your eyes up for that. Until then, thanks for watching. See you later.